Hello, everyone. Welcome to our D1 data collection unit overview and demo. We're going to have a great day here talking about this new product in the ALMACO portfolio here. My name is Lisa Dirksen. I'm the marketing manager here at ALMACO. So I'm just going to kind of take us through a few introductory slides, kind of give us level set on what to expect today as people filter in. All right, so today we're going to be covering a little bit of just introductions, some general housekeeping of how this webinar is going to work on the front end. We have a brief overview presentation just to make sure everyone's level set with what D1 is, what it does. And then we're also going to have a working demonstration of D1. So we'll go into the D1 app, we'll see it actually work and function, which will be a lot of fun, and then open Q&A for folks as well. Just as some introductions here, we have a panel of experts to cover both in presentation form as well as in the Q&A. We've got Andy Jenkins from an engineering perspective. He's going to take through a majority of the portion of the D1 content. Todd Vincent from sales. He's here to kind of represent from a sales standpoint. Rob Paul from product management, and then also Poole Hastings from service. So a really great crew of folks here today. Now, I know a lot of folks are familiar with Zoom. I think it's a pretty popular program, but just in case, we want to make sure everyone is feeling good about this. So at this point, all participants in the webinar are muted. That's by intent, where we're going to be presenting our materials. The Q&A will be textual. So there is a Q&A function in the bottom of your screen. Your screen might look slightly different. This is my host view, but if you can see the red box at the very bottom that says Q&A, that's where you go to submit any questions you might have throughout the presentation. You don't have to wait to the very end to submit questions. Feel free to submit those questions as you think of them, as they're coming in. We'll address those as we get into the Q&A portion, but that'll be great for us to kind of compile those and be prepared for answering anything that you might need. There's also a chat feature in Zoom as well. I'm going to ask that everyone uses the Q&A function to submit questions, but you can direct chat me as the host if you're having any troubleshooting issues, if you're having any questions about how to use Zoom, basically anything that you might just need direct support on, I'm available in the chat feature. And then a little bit of just what happens after this event. So within about 48 hours of this event, you're going to receive an email with a link of the recording for this. So you'll have that as an asset for long-term as you're considering your short-term and long-term purchases. Also a link to the D1 web page as well as the brochure, and then a link to request additional information, contact information from other representatives here today if you have further questions or if you need further support. And I know that y'all have probably seen this. It was with the webinar invitation as well, but we're running a promotional campaign right now as well. I just want to make sure that that is something that y'all have seen. So to kind of further support your uptime, and there's a little bit of frosting on this cake, ALMACO is offering a free service inspection with purchases of D1. That's a limited time offer. It's not retroactive. Purchases must include ALMACO installation and training. And the free inspection has to be done at the time of D1 installation. So that offer is running from April 5th to May 31st. So if we'll provide contact information for sales. If you have any questions about that, if you'd like more information, I would love to connect with you. Next, we'll move into a little bit of the presentation portion of this. So I know in the emails that you've seen and some of the past service bulletins that we've posted, we've talked about the LRX end of life as well as the end of life for the Seed Spectre products. For this particular presentation slide, we're going to hand it over to Todd Vincent from sales. He's going to cover what that looks like and just give us a little bit of background on that.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks everyone for joining us today. I want to go through and just make sure everybody understood some of the past products that we've had on our data acquisition products that you've used in the past. And of course, with electronic, there's a line we need to draw when we're end of life on some of these products because of parts, service, and the ability to even work on these. So back in January of 2023, we sent out a bulletin that stated that end of life on the LRX was going to be this October 1st of 2024. And so we're continuing with that same date. But currently right now, I want to kind of give you a highlight and kind of bullet points of where we're at in our other products too on the electronic side. So currently right now, we're no longer selling the Seed Spectre products, and that includes the LRX. So if you've got a current LRX, we don't have any new ones that we could sell. That's where the D1 came into place a few years ago, as we saw this coming to be able to build upon our next product to replace the LRX. Also, if you have a Seed Spectre 2 and or a Seed Spectre 5, for the last couple years, probably the last 3 or 4 years, we've always had challenges on the Seed Spectre 2s and 5s, being able to service them. We've draw a hard line on this end of life on those particular products also. So that's part of the Seed Spectre family. So the LRX, the 5 and 2 will be in this same non-serviceable units. So until October 1st of 2024, your current LRX that you have is limited to the number of spare parts we have in stock. So what does that mean? Well, that means if you're in harvest this year, up to that date, and you have an issue with your LRX, you can certainly send it to us. We will put it on a test stand. We will look it over. If it's just something simple we need to do, we can go ahead and fix it. If it does require a part that's a hardware piece or something that we just do not have in stock or do not have that part any longer, that's going to be where we'll have to say it's not available to service. So after October 1st, that's where we're drawing the line in regards to end of life on the LRX, and we will not be able to service these units at all. So you've got some time to look at the D1, have some time from today before harvest, where we have plenty of D1s available and where we can upgrade and enhance your particular machines. But these are the two dates and processes that we've set up for this product retirement and replacement. Now, even on the before the October 1st LRX service, if for some reason we can't service your units, we do have some limited supply of loaners. And if you've worked with us in the past, you've seen where if we're working on it, we could send you a loaner in the meantime. We'll continue to do that up to that date. But after that date, we're going to have very limited loaners, very limited LRXs themselves. We're also, if you look at a D1 for replacement, we have right now to where we are giving an amount as far as a trade-in on your working LRX towards a D1 upgrade. We would prefer a 2011 or newer, and we'd like to have the high-speed version if possible. So let us know if you're interested in trading that. We can look at that through sales and through my team, and we can get you a trade value for a new D1. So that would be where we're doing on our product retirement and replacement. And October 1st is the date you need to remember, 2024.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Todd. And Todd will be available for questions. We'll make sure you have his contact info if you have any other questions about that. And if you do have questions, again, make sure you're adding those to the Q&A section at the bottom of your Zoom page there. So next we'll get into the meat of the presentation. We're going to transition into Andy Jenkins. He's the senior design engineer here at ALMACO. He is the lead engineer for D1, so he knows this in and out, back and forth. He's also been here for 18 years at ALMACO, so great asset, also just a really great guy. So with that, we're going to transition to Andy and hear a little bit more about D1.
Thank you, Lisa. I was involved with a team of people that were all of us involved in creating the D1. Again, as Todd said, we did this. We knew the Seed Spectre product line was coming to an end, and we wanted to be sure that we had a drop-in replacement for the Seed Spectre to keep all our customers in operation and provide some benefits above and beyond. So here you see the D1. We've hidden it here in an SPC 20. That's one of the joys about the D1. It does not need to be front and center right in your face for your entire harvest procedure. Our goal with this project was to provide the same yield, weight, moisture, test weight accuracies that you've come to expect from the Seed Spectre, and improve a little bit on the functionality, usability, just overall ease of use to get this thing in your hands. The D1's available for new installs, service installs, and even a field install if we need to. We want to make sure that uptime is our first priority. And we think we've done that with this product. So this works with all of our existing weight and moisture hardware. All of our moisture probes, our load cells, they can remain the same. If you don't need to change them as part of a D1 upgrade, we don't need to do that. It's a cost savings measure, and to make sure that we are compatible with our combines that were built clear back in the 70s. ALMACO has a long history for making sure that we keep our equipment running. And with D1, we think we're making a good step on keeping all your equipment available for you well into the future. So some of the things we're going to cover here, there is some new software that goes with the D1. The LRX and the Seed Spectre 5s you're used to having a display. We didn't want the operator focus away from what they needed to be worried about. We need them to look at their harvest software, at the operation of their combine. The LRX display was one more distraction. We have standardized architecture that we can use across our entire line of equipment, as well as in competitors' lines if necessary. We wanted to make the system more durable, but keep our multi-crop versatility and make it easier to operate. We're going to do all this and maintain our previous service and support options. So the new user interface is not a replacement for your harvest software. The new box, the D1, is Ethernet connected, so losing an outdated serial connection that used to be there, which means faster communication, a little bit better update rates. We really tried to make the operator experience first and foremost. This new app really just gives access to the readings, the settings, other functions, and the events that have happened around the D1. It works with the harvest software. This is not the harvest software. So this app kind of hides down in the system tray until it's needed. There's simplified settings for the D1 over the LRX. You see in the bottom picture here shows an actual calibration curve. You can see the curve in operation. You know that this curve is the one that we're using. You know that there's no odd spikes in it. It's, if you're familiar with these curves, or whoever sets up your curves, should know that, you know, we want something that provides a consistent data, but as shown in this one, data isn't always a straight line. One of the other things we've added with the D1 in the top picture, we actually have an event log. It shows things that have happened to the D1 over time. And this provides some instant feedback to the operator so they know if there's a problem, as well as the ability to save that information out and forward it on to your equipment managers and our sales team and our service team, so we can communicate problems effectively and quickly. So the D1 is compatible for replacement on anything that currently has a seed specter on it. ALMACO produces over 12 different moisture probes and a whole slew of load cells that are used for weight. The D1 is compatible with all of them and more. We do that so we can tune the bucket to your crop, your sample size. This system does not have an internal battery. The LRX internal battery was there to store the weight and moisture calibrations and to keep them in memory. The D1 uses a flash memory, so it works similar to a flash drive, where that memory is maintained indefinitely without the need for a battery. So no more losing a calibration curve if a battery goes down in the middle of a season. The D1, like the LRX, can also run your buckets no matter what kind they are. We have pneumatic, we have electric, and we have hydraulic buckets out there. We're compatible with all of them. So we have an engineering department. We're dedicated to providing our customers with the right solution for their application. If you need to run short plot beans, we can do that. If you need to run long strip trials, we can do those too. Bucket options are available in an entire spectrum. Our sales department is more than happy to discuss any of those. Durable design. The LRX was sheet metal construction with the electronics inside. It was not watertight. Everybody who's had one, typically if you didn't have a cab, you brought them in at the end of the night, you brought them back out in the morning. There were people that left them in trucks. There were people that forgot them in hotel rooms. The D1 is part of your combine. It's in a aluminum case that is water sealed. There's no worry about rust there. We don't worry about dust. We have all sealed connectors now. We really wanted to make this thing a little more robust, so it put up with the same operating conditions that our operators are subjected to. This thing's really designed to be out of sight, out of mind. And the entire interface is now in front of the operator on their computer. Multi-crop operation. We have always prided ourselves on having a solution that works for everyone. D1 can work with all of the crops listed there and more. A bucket system, again, can be provided for optimal accuracy. We have larger load cells and smaller load cells to really tune the system to get every bit of accuracy out of there that we can. So ALMACO produces and has produced many series of combines. We currently produce everything from our single row HP5 all the way up to our R2. The D1 will work on all of them. The HP5, the SPC20s, the 40s, the 50s, the 90s, R1, R2, even in our seed processing lines and our portable seed labs. Anywhere an LRX was capable, the D1 is there and is probably more capable. We honestly, we tried to keep all the functionality. One of the things we have added, especially for the larger combines like the R2 and the TRs, is the ability to pair the D1 with an external controller. These controllers can not just run the bucket systems, but can be programmed to run other portions of the system too. I think we're going to have some exciting developments with that here in the near future. And as always, we try to be your trusted partner. We stand by our equipment. We pride ourselves on our service. 24/7, 365. We're there for you. And again, we're offering that free inspection with an install from April 5 to May 31st. We're definitely excited about getting more of these in people's hands and ready for operation. It's kind of a placeholder or a end to the presentation. These are the published specs on the D1. We can run accuracies down to 1/100th of a pound. In theory, this thing can weigh on any load cell. We can weigh up to grain wagons if necessary. Moisture accuracy depends on your calibration, of course, as well as crop. But we're more than happy to help make sure that you have the best calibrations and the best equipment. And again, Lisa will be sending this this presentation out in the next couple days, and we'll make sure that all these numbers are in everyone's hands.
Awesome. Thank you, Andy. That was great. So now that we've kind of level set on what D1 is, high level, what that looks like, and now we get into the fun demo portion of it, we can see it actually working. Perfect. And please enjoy.
This is the ALMACO D1. It's a new harvest data collection system by ALMACO that builds on the long legacy of the Seed Spectre units. It's in a weather-tight, rugged aluminum case. With watertight connectors, it's designed to be mounted outside a cab and even out of sight, increasing operator visibility and focus. It's supposed to be part of your combine, not just in it. It's compatible with all our equipment, from our freestanding weigh hoppers all the way up to the brand newest R2s. Has all the capabilities of our previous models with ALMACO designed circuit boards and no battery backup to worry about anymore. The D1 retains all the functionality of the Seed Spectre LRX. It's a fully capable 2-channel weight, moisture, and test weight unit with 4 internal relays that are fused at 7.5 amps each, with the ability to run several more external relays should the need arise. It can even be paired with an external controller for more complex operations, such as what we've done on the R2. We can complete this system with the correct moisture blade for your crop. Corn, soybeans, wheat, rice, whatever crop, whatever plot size. This system will handle it from grams to tons. The interface to the D1 is a new application that starts with the computer and resides in the system tray. This application is used to calibrate and verify the connectivity and correct operation of the system outside of the harvest software. The program can be minimized back to the system tray, but closing it prevents communication with the D1. The main screen shows the current values of all the calibrated channels: weight, moisture, temperature, and test weight. Our freestanding weigh hopper only has a weight and moisture channel. The system relays can be tested from the right side of the screen. These functions are machine dependent. On the freestanding weigh hopper, relay 0 opens the weigh hopper, and relay 1 closes it. On more complex systems, such as the ALMACO R2, the D1's internal relays are not used, and the external or machine relays can still be controlled from this page. In the upper left-hand corner of the screen, there's a connection icon that shows the current connection status between the D1 app and the D1 module and optional system controller. The green icon tells at a glance that the system is communicating correctly. In the event that communication is interrupted, for example, the tablet is undocked, the D1 app will bring itself to the front, the icon will show it is disconnected, and the app will switch to the event history page to describe the error. Once the tablet's redocked, the D1 will reestablish connection automatically. From this page, we can view system error, warning, and information events of the D1 history, and it can even be exported to send off for out-of-office troubleshooting. The final page of the D1 app is for curve calibration. All calibration curves are stored on the D1, so changing tablets in the middle of the season is not a concern. The current curve is selected using the drop-down menu at the center, and then curve data is displayed as a table on the left-hand side and a graph in the center of the screen. A tare value can be specified, and that tare value allows for moisture tare, as is common with ALMACO seed specters. The current data, including the calibrated reading and voltage read directly from the system, are displayed here, as well as the current shift applied by the tare. Calibration is then written to the D1 or to a file using the buttons at the lower right of the screen. The calibration procedure is simple. A new point can be added simply by adding a value using the on-screen keyboard, applying the weight or grain sample to the bucket, and acquiring a new point. Notice that when any change is made to the curve is marked as unsaved. The system will not allow you to exit or use that calibration curve until the change is saved or discarded. So if I attempt to go back to the main screen, I get a warning. I'm going to cancel that change and save it to the D1. Calibration points are locked for editing to prevent accidental changes. This is indicated with the unlock button. Now that the system is unlocked, I can acquire a new point, or I can delete that point and confirm the deletion. And I'm again going to save that to the D1. This calibration curve is ready to go. ALMACO's latest version of Vantage HD is compatible with both SeedSpectre LRX and the D1, allowing the use of the same software across the whole fleet as you choose to update your hardware. If you'd rather create your own software, ALMACO can provide documentation, examples, and best practices for connection to the D1 app in the exact manner used by Vantage HD. Here we show that Vantage HD has connected to D1. To an experienced Vantage HD user, the only noticeable changes are that if the D1 app detects an issue, it will report the error to Vantage HD and maximize to draw the operator's attention. And also, the calibration page automatically redirects the user to the D1 app. When entering harvest, the D1 app is automatically minimized to increase operator focus. If your operators have used ALMACO's Seed Spectre product line in the past, we believe that they'll be familiar with the D1's simplified operation. Let's run a cycle on our freestanding way hopper. I'm going to introduce some grain to the system. You can see there's a live reading on Vantage HD. I can then cycle the machine, and it locks in the readings. And empties the grain.
All right, everybody. So that was our demo here. So as you saw, we walked through the cycle of using the equipment, how to use the app, all the different pages, what that looks like, and how interactive it is. It's a pretty intuitive tool, as you can see. There's not a heavy amount of training that needs to go into this piece of equipment. I think it's meant to be intuitive, meant to be a strong piece of portfolio here for y'all. So with that, we're going to go ahead and enter into the Q&A portion of this presentation. So we did get some questions here, and please feel free to keep those coming. You can submit those within the Q&A function within the Zoom field. The first question here is, will this tablet be compatible with the new Elite planting software? Yeah, and Andy, can you cover that?
Yeah, this software is compatible with pretty much any Windows system. It's really designed for Windows 10 and 11. But the Elite software is written for an Android tablet. So they are currently not compatible. If we get enough demand that direction, we can certainly take another look at that. But currently, no, the plan is not to have these two things be on the same tablet.
Perfect. Thank you, Andy. I've got some other questions coming in here. So one question is, what's included with the field inspection for the D1 promo? Todd, can you talk a little bit about what a field inspection would look like for a promo like that?
For the combine itself on the field inspection.
Yes.
So we've got a list that we go through. The service group would walk through your combine. Basically, there's about 136 point list that they go through on inspection. And then what they'll do is they'll provide you basically a listing of either repairs or upgrades that you can do. They'll provide you a cost quote for that. And then you can determine, is there things that you would like to do? Are there things that ALMACO could do? And will facilitate any additional work that you'd like to have done at that particular time.
Beautiful. Thank you, Todd. Okay, well, those are the pre-submitted questions. Does anyone have any additional questions? Feel free. Oh, here comes one. How is the service for D1? Are all factory service and field service technicians up to speed on quick and timely repair time?
I think let Cole answer that.
Yeah, all the field techs have got experience with the D1s and are ready to troubleshoot load cells and moisture probes, whatever they need to do.
I'd like to add to that. The The D1 app actually makes some of those troubleshooting procedures a little easier. We don't have to worry about how the harvest software interacts with the system. The app itself allows direct access in, and the service techs or even the operators can see, directly how each load cell is performing, how each moisture probe is performing. So it should be a slightly easier process than it has been in the past.
Perfect, thank you. All right, any other questions? Any other questions? Feel free to submit them in the Q&A. We'll give it just a minute for folks who might be typing. And actually, I know that someone asked a question about the Seed Pro Elite and the compatibility here as well. Why don't we talk a little bit about what Seed Pro Elite is, just like really high level too, Todd? Can you cover that really quick?
Sure. And so what we've done is, if you're used to the Seed Pro 360 that we've had out for multiple years, what we've done is we've actually gone to an electric drive row unit planner that's having all the row units themselves electrically driven instead of a mechanical driven unit. We're swapping out, removing the hydraulic controls and the older control system and going to this electric system. We have it both as a new planter, and then also you can take your existing Seed Pro 360 and just do an upgrade. We've got multiple planters running this spring in 2024. It's a new product for us in 2024, and then moving into 2025 and 26. And we have it capable for a 4-row upgrade or an 8-row upgrade.
Perfect, thanks. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that product line, since it's a little bit on the newer side here. Let's jump into, can you swap out the D1 in season like you could get a loaner LRX?
Yeah, we talked about that internally, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna have D1 packages and kits set up. And it'll have the adapter plugs to where if you had a down LRX, you couldn't replace it, we couldn't fix it, we don't have a loaner. We're not gonna leave you out in the cold. We're gonna be able to get you a D1 upgrade to where that can be field installed, and should be able to, you do it yourself, but we would have technicians through our client support group that actually could come on site and make sure it's hooked up properly, calibrated, give you a little bit of training with it, and be able to get you on your way, especially if it's in the middle of harvest.
Yeah, also, if it's just a service issue, swapping a D1 for a D1 mid-season, that's definitely doable. You can save your calibrations to your desktop or to your computer. And then when the new one's there, plug it in and load those back into the D1. So yeah, service, if something should happen, somebody hits that a little too hard with their sledgehammer, which is about what it'd take, they should be swappable mid-season. Yeah, very similar to the LRX. You'd want to verify your calibrations, of course, but yes, the swap procedure mid-season from D1 to D1 should also be quite simple.
Perfect. We had more of a comment than a question, but it says, glad to not have a box in the small cab to hit my head on. Good move. I appreciate that comment. Thank you so much for saying that. We also are a big fan of that as our stance as well. As far as, let's see. So with the new combines and the telematics being available, can this be something that is integrated with that for further diagnostics over the phone? So can we talk a little bit about what that's going to look like?
Yeah, the D1 system as a replacement for the LRX doesn't necessarily communicate directly with the combine. So it's really a separate system. But that being said, because we're all on a window-based system, or Windows system, there is a possibility there, if provided a decent internet access, that a technician could remote dial in That's not something we've done a lot of in the past, but something that we're doing more of probably in the future. So that is, it's not necessarily part of our telematics, but with the connectivity that 5G systems and the rollout of those, even in rural areas, that has helped our service department greatly, being able to diagnose things a little more effectively over the phone. We can even go what is now considered low tech and do FaceTime, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of things that our service technicians have made themselves keenly aware of when it comes to using technology to make sure our customers stay in operation.
Perfect, thank you. We have one more question here. Are there any live demos of the D1 in operation? I will say that the video, I know that it's video edited, but that was live action of it actually running through and stuff like that. We edited it for convenience and abbreviation here too, but if anyone is interested in having a further demo or talking to sales about that, I'm sure it's Todd, I know that y'all do some of that stuff too. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so what I would suggest is, let us, find your location where you're at. We can see if there's a D1 that's close that would actually be in operation. And make that connectivity. We could get sales up there and be able to walk through there if you'd like to see it in field operation. The other thing is, we have our farm here. Sometimes we'll have, units here that, we have our demonstrator units. That might be another possibility. Or you can definitely see it in the lab atmosphere too, and we could run you through right here at the factory.
Perfect. All right, any more questions? Feel free to add those. We'll give it a few minutes. Here we go, here's one. Will you have a demo R1 this season? If so, will it have a D1 installed on it?
So currently right now, to answer that question is, we didn't build a demonstrator R1. We are actually looking at a demo R2 this year. But I have a possibility of having a D1 through another channel that we could possibly demonstrate. So let us know where you're located and what you'd like to see. The majority of the R1s that we are building today are equipped with a high capacity classic grain gauge. On the Harvest Master side, we're also a Harvest Master dealer, so you can both buy a Harvest Master system or the D1 from ALMACO. Now, I have several R1s with the D1 on it, depending on your location. We might be able to run you over to one of our clients that actually has that particular configuration. Just reach out and let us know.
And one thing I would say from a marketing standpoint is this is going to be one of many of these that we plan on doing. We'd like to cover several product lines and solutions and based on interest from folks as well. So if this is something where a virtual demo to kind of bolster some of the physical demos that can happen for those products, we want to do that too. So definitely open to that feedback. I know that was a question and part of the registration form, that this is why we really want to be out there supporting clients, making sure everyone knows that what's all available from a technology standpoint here at ALMACO. Perfect. Any other questions? And if not, I'll go ahead and say I really appreciate everyone's time today. I know it's a busy time of the season, so y'all coming out to hear this information is really appreciated by all of us here and in the room. Again, after this meeting, within 48 hours, you will have recordings and everything within your inboxes. So keep an eye out for that, as well as contact information for folks here at ALMACO to talk more about the D1 product. So if you have other questions or anything like that, we are always available here at ALMACO to cover those and support you. So with that, we will give you just a few more minutes back to your day. And again, really appreciate the time today. Y'all take care and hope to do this again soon and talk to you soon.